Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is episode number 43, which is the meaning of life plus one.
Yes. We had to look that up, and
Yeah.
we were like, oh, the meaning of life is 42.
Yeah, we
But
probably
this is
could have
one
spent
better.
5 minutes trying to think of a relevant 43, but, you know,
Who cares?
effort, that means being prepared. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my good friend, Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, man?
Really good, man. Thank you. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. I have just sat and listened to the new Party Cannon EP with you, and I actually enjoyed it.
I know. I was like, we've made it. We've done it. Something must have went right. And then you said, I can see why Chris is going to hate this, because I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just well, the mix. I enjoyed the mix, and there were long sections where I could really kind of get into the groove.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when's that due out? When are people going to get to hear that?
There is a split coming out. It's quite a long title, so I better look it up, because I'm really terrible at being in a band. This song, there's one of the chip tracks is going to get released on Slam Worldwide in the next couple of weeks, just as a kind of teaser. I think that's probably going to be in the next week or two, but the split will be out in the next month and a half, because it's going to be going out before Party Cannon go on tour to Asia, which is mid-October, early to mid-October. So
Touchy subject, but looking forward to the Asia tour.
I can't wait. And by that I mean I'm not going. I'll say it again. I'm gutted about it, but it's just life. You know what
I
I mean?
can actually see it in your eyes. Like you can, for people that aren't. This is one of the few times I'm going to recommend people don't actually watch the show. You should only listen to it, because seeing the despair in Mike's eyes, there is more than one man can cope with.
And to think, just about an hour ago I was telling you, I think that's the depression starting to lift its haze from me. My mindset's getting better, and my mentality and just the way I'm like perceiving things is great. And then you hit me with that one, haha, you're not going to Asia. Like, fuck you. He's a bad man.
Yeah, I'm a terrible man. That is me. Oh, who did that song? I'm a terrible man. That's Paul Gilbert, yeah. Paul Gilbert, terrible man. That's me. Anyway.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
No.
When did that come out?
It's a terrible song. It's on Spaceship One, I think.
I liked Spaceship One, and I don't remember that song.
I'm a terrible man.
It must have been after that.
I'm a terrible man.
Was it Silence followed by Deafening Roar, maybe?
Since I left my baby alone, yeah. I'm a terrible man. No, it's not a great song. Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. I struggled to say that there. Let's try that again. Ormsby Guitars. Wonderful guitars out of Australia. Still waiting on mine to show up.
I'm excited for mine too.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm getting impatient, but then I realise that there's people who've waited a lot longer when they've pre-ordered. So
We're going to talk about a brand today where people have waited even longer. So
I wonder what brand that is, Levi.
we talk too much. I can't help myself. Anyway, so head on over to Ormsby Guitars website, check out the latest runs, pick yourself up a Red Dead. I did get a message from one of our listeners just recently showing me a picture of a stunning Goliath that they had ordered. And very jealous, because I'd like a Goliath. So if we could hurry up and get my...
Andy Torrance picked up the Run 4 as well.
Yeah, I posted those on our Facebook page.
He's went from being quite picky and buying kind of weird guitars to now owning two Ormsby's within about 3 months. He came over to mine and he played a few, and he was like, I like the hype, but the neck's not quite for me. And then he just held the Goliath and he went, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, aye, that's what they do to you.
He held it and was like, am I really holding it? Is it really here? It just feels like air in my hands.
A big helium guitar.
Yeah. I said to Perry last night, because I'm filming a YouTube video. It's like the first time I've ever done like a YouTube video project, one that takes more than just 5 minutes to record.
Ooh.
I bought a shit ton of rubbish guitar things off of wish.com, and I'm looking forward to reviewing some of those, and they are absolutely stinking, the things that have showed up. I really like the idea of getting a guitar though, like a cheap fake Chinese guitar, and comparing it to the genuine article, and then going through the joy of either setting fire to or running it through with power tools afterwards. So I love the idea of being able to find a really cheap knockoff Ormsby and compare it to the genuine article. But you can't find those anywhere, unfortunately. No. Or I certainly couldn't. So that's a good sign. That's nice.
Ask Lance. I'm sure he'll get you one.
Yeah, I'm sure he could probably custom order me one. So please do head on over to Ormsby Guitars. We do very much enjoy their support, and we like their product, and that's the important thing, right? So which of these stories are you wanting to look at first?
The movie one.
I think the movie one. Yeah, okay.
It's a good start.
So I had no idea that this was a thing, but apparently Fred Durst has done a movie starring John Travolta. Apparently.
First of all, how did they get to this point? How did we get here?
Yeah. Had you heard about this?
No.
No?
It was when I saw the headline, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then we read the rest of it, and it was like, oh.
Yeah. Are you not looking forward to checking this one out?
I probably will watch it, but the same reason that I watched, or I'm going to watch The Room.
Yeah.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'll give you the figures as we go on, but
Yeah.
it says in this article that I'm reading, this film marks Travolta's fourth straight box office bomb. Fourth straight box office bomb. He released In the Valley of Violence, which grossed $29,000. Yeah, ouch. Killing Season, which starred Robert De Niro, that only took in $27,000. Like what? And Gotti. He was in the lead in that, and yeah, made a little bit more money, but yeah, still. So this film, starring John Travolta, we like John Travolta, right? Who doesn't like John Travolta?
I like him now that he's not a Scientologist, which might tie in with why these are all fucked.
Hang on, is he not a Scientologist?
No. He was.
I mean, when did he leave? How do I not know
last
this?
couple of years, I'm sure.
This is
Unless I'm tripping, I'm going to Google it right now. This is going to be the episode where I'm just an ignorant bastard Googling things, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
I'm sure he left, and that's what's caused, or not caused his fucking problem, but my understanding is that he left.
Any news on that?
I'm just looking up.
But yeah, I have...
Ex-Scientologist says John Travolta tried to resurrect son. That's not quite the headline we're looking for. What the fuck, man? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if he's left. Anyway,
I was sure I read that.
You look,
man.
I'll talk.
Yes.
So who doesn't love John Travolta? Like, I legitimately love John Travolta films. So this would appeal to me, but it's very much in the same way that I love Nicolas Cage. You know, growing up, tons of great Nicolas Cage films that I thoroughly enjoyed. Some even starring John Travolta as well. Like Face Off, classic, right?
Face Off's a fucking belter.
Yeah.
I'm Castor Troy.
Yeah. Absolutely love that film. But you know, I love Grease, because who doesn't love Grease?
I don't love it.
Animal.
I've never seen it. I won't watch it.
Why?
Thanks. Because I've heard the songs enough times, which was once, to say no.
Okay, fine.
Just for me, I'm like, sorry.
Okay. Broken Arrow with Christian Slater. I like that film a lot.
I haven't seen that in fucking years, man.
Yeah.
That's a nostalgia. That's like as much nostalgia as Cliffhanger is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of other Travolta films that I really, really enjoy. Oh,
Pulp Fiction.
Punisher.
I don't think I've seen Punisher.
No.
Is that the one with Eric Bana?
It's the one with Thomas Jane.
Right.
Plays Punisher, and Travolta's the bad guy in it, so it's good in that. And yeah, of course, Pulp Fiction. I was waiting for that one. That's
the biggie in it, really.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, he's a star of Hollywood. So for him to be in a film which is brought to you by Fred Durst, according to the Hollywood Reporter, the film, which opened in 52 screens across America, which to be fair isn't a lot of screens, but still, grossed a total of $3,153.
Big money.
$3,153, with the highest single screen taking $736.
Amazing.
Wow.
Smashed it.
I mean, there's box office bombs, and then there's that.
I think that's probably less than what the catering budget would have been for the staff.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But also, right, I don't think the real there's any other reason than the idea of the film. Even the poster and the tagline is enough to put you off anything. So it's called The Fanatic.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. So for those that can't see it, right, it's called The Fanatic, which is a shot of the word The Fanatic kind of split up as if it's broken across the screen on top of a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Where the stars put their hands in their autographs. Underneath it says, all he wanted was an autograph, which is the tagline. And then you have John Travolta in a set of glasses looking a bit Harold Shipmany with a big fucking kitchen knife, which is covered in terribly photoshopped blood.
Yeah.
That poster doesn't catch my attention, except to laugh at, sadly.
To be fair to him, you know, the final sentence here does say that The Fanatic was always destined for video on demand, where it will appear on September 6th.
Why release it in the cinema then?
I know. Well, it's a growing trend, isn't it? That is happening more and more. With a great example was Shaft. Did you see they did a remake of Shaft?
No.
No, that bombed in the cinemas, and then it got released on Netflix as a Netflix thing. So yeah, cool. I'll give it a watch eventually.
Just to finalise what I found online, the opinions are that he is not a practicing Scientologist, but he keeps it quiet.
I don't think anyone's a practicing Scientologist.
You try to tell me Tom Cruise is not a practicing Scientologist?
Not a chance in hell. Not based on the sheer amount of documentaries. The Leah Remini documentary on Scientology.
That's not going clear, isn't it? Not hers is Aftermath.
I forget what hers is called.
There's a few good ones.
Yeah, there's tons of good ones, and the widely held opinion is that people like Tom Cruise are drawn to Scientology because why wouldn't they be? Not because it's a firmly held belief, but because of the benefits that it brings to their career. The man has Scientology staff on hand to do whatever he wants. He is basically a god. He would never get that same sort of those benefits from being a Catholic.
Oh no, for sure, because for anyone that's looked into Scientology, we know that Scientology and Hollywood pretty much go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's more or less where it started.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't mean that practicing necessarily that he's fucking reading whatever nonsense they're coming up with about Xenu and Thetans and whatever else fucking nonsense.
So you're saying he's a proud, badge wearing.
He presents himself absolutely as a Scientologist and is some sort of he wears it like a badge of honour, and he presents himself as a model follower of it. Because he does, but he's also nuts.
Yeah, would highly recommend all of the documentaries on the subject.
Yeah, I would highly recommend not being a Scientologist.
Yeah, cool. So, all right, let's move on to something else funny. Kiss. We like Kiss. Well, I like Kiss. You hate Kiss.
I don't necessarily hate the music. I don't necessarily hate Kiss. I just don't have time for people who value money over their fans. Is that fair to say?
Okay, I see. So, Kiss have released a T-shirt. It was available for purchase at a Cincinnati gig, end of the road concert, and a fan has tweeted out a picture. Hey, Kiss, $50 for this T-shirt as well. $50, a lot of money.
Yep.
Is $50 the going rate for a shirt with the city name misspelled?
Double T. Good effort.
Wow.
Now, for anyone who has seen the picture there or who's listening and is like, oh, that's an easy mistake, you're right, but these are one of the biggest bands in the world, and to not have that quality control in place would be one thing. However, I believe they do have the quality control in place, and when that happened, someone in the band or otherwise has went and made the executive decision, nah, we'll not reprint them, we'll just sell them anyway. If you don't think that Kiss would jump on the opportunity to say, look at this misspelled and rare and collectible piece of merchandise.
But that's correct. That is absolutely the kind of thing that 20 years from now, that shirt will be worth a lot of money.
You're right, because even not to talk about Amazon again with the fake CDs, but you do get rare demos where the artwork's different from another one, or they've got a hidden track, or even the tracks are in a different order or spelled different, or any number of things, and you find people in the death metal community at least super rare version because there's only two of them because it's got this on it that's different from the main ones, and super collectible because it's a one-off, and then people paid silly money for it. So,
yeah. But it's worth pointing out that Kiss themselves won't have been involved in this in any way, shape, or form. They won't have seen these before they went on sale. This is just business, right? Someone. Are you think Gene Simmons is wandering around looking at all their merch stands before a gig?
Do you think that Kiss got so rich? I won't say successful. Rich, letting other people deal with their business.
No, I don't think they got so rich having anyone deal with their,
having a hands-off
Gene
approach.
Simmons is the business manager, but that doesn't mean he's calling up t-shirt companies. Gene Simmons has probably not spoken to a designer for graphics works in 30 years because he's got people that he trusts, probably shouldn't trust. And the evidence to that is that you're right. We know what Gene Simmons is like. If if Gene had set eyes on this before the show, you are absolutely right. There would be a big fucking banner above that saying your one and only chance to get this collectible misprint t-shirt, because that's who he is. So it's absolutely shocking. Though, having said that, Cincinnati. We may have a listener or two in Cincinnati, but just change your name. Just something nice, and it's like Mississippi, right? I can spell Mississippi, but still, no place name should be that. Like, what is this? Wales?
Nice humble brag.
Yeah,
I can spell Cincinnati.
Yeah. But I can't spell Cincinnati. Like, I was looking at that going, so what's wrong with this?
Double T.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I got that now. So
to be fair, like when I first seen it as well, I was like, what have they misspelled? Like, did they put something else wrong? And then you realise, oh, wait a minute, they fucked the actual city name.
yeah, and of course that would be a glaring error to anyone that lives in the place.
Yes. Is it Ohio Cincinnati's in?
Yeah. So cool. There's Kiss.
Have you nod back to all you emos? Ohio is for lovers.
Now I'm going to jump onto this one, the John Brown boomer posting.
Oh.
This was this happened on Riff Hard. Riff Hard is John Brown's instructional website.
Yes,
we talked about it briefly on the show before. I have ties to the website. I don't own shares or anything in it, but I provided all the transcriptions for them. So and I know John and Ollie. So not that Ollie is involved, but there's a connection there. So take all of this from that perspective. Like, this is me having a laugh about a pal rather than trying to stir up some gossip, though it is hilarious and it tells you a lot about John Brown, right? So John posted this on his Instagram, just kind of pointing out that he was goading and making fun of somebody posting on the Riff Hard Facebook page. Now, it's not presented with enough context here on the Instagram page. John just says, today I wanted to stir the pot. I had a guy over on We Riff Hard page saying that rhythm guitar isn't important and that Master of Puppets is super easy to play all downpicked.
If you're James Hetfield.
Yeah. After many excuses as to why he couldn't submit a video for me to see, I offered to send him a guitar from my personal collection if he posts a video of him conquering Master of Puppets in the next hour. Let's see if he's small time or guitar time. I mean, that doesn't work so well, but hashtag no small time, which is so fortunately this was captured in all its glory and on one of our favorite pages, or at least one of my favorite pages,
Guitar boomer posting.
So let's take a look at this. So John is talking about rhythm guitar in one of the promotional videos, and Danny Goodwin, because if you want to say things stupid in public, then we should be able to laugh at you for it. Comes
and
in
once
with,
you post something on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah. The guys he named are okay, I guess. That's all they have in common. And before you start talking shit, I'm a classical guitarist, have been for over 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. Frank Gambale.
She spells wrong. Estas Tony, whoever that is.
Yes. Michelangelo Battio. Those are monster guitarists. Right.
They're all one guitarist who's a monster? Okay. Yeah. No problem. I mean, before we go any further, Michelangelo Battio is a monster guitarist, but he's also a one-trick pony.
And also, I just don't buy any of this. I'm a classical guitarist and have been for 40 years. I'm sorry. If you've been a classical guitar player for 40 years, they're very specific type of person.
Right.
And you have to be serious about that instrument, you have to be a very specific type of person. And I don't believe for a second that you are ever going to find a proper classical guitar player that has any respect for Michelangelo Battio.
Or one who talks about how down picking is easy, considering most classical guitarists will not use a plectrum.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Danny? Anyway.
Yeah. So John comes back, and this is the beauty. Like in the Guitar Boomer posting thing, people were commenting saying, "Wow, the Riff Hard moderator is brutal." And then, no, this is John.
Yeah, it's not a moderator. This is the man.
Yeah. So quite an interesting array of guitarists there, from fusion, shred, classical, gypsy, and all top of their chosen fields. Guitar is a lot more than skill level and the promotion of glamorous lead playing. It's also about writing music that moves people. That in itself is a skill that transcends anything else. Writing music that can move people, and on that note, Please sing back to me a part written by Michelangelo about you.
That's enough of that, isn't it, really?
Now, how many people
no.
do you think could sing back Enter Sandman or Walk?
Just before we go any further, can you imagine if somebody decided to sing the Freight Train solo?
I'd love to do Jim Gillette's just the vocal part.
Oh.
I'm on a freight train, but
freight
obviously
train
a lot higher than that.
I'm on a freight train. Yeah. He had some ridiculous vocals. Sorry, I'm totally going off chart.
So John says you should also try downpicking all of Master of Puppets. It's absolutely insane, and anyone that thinks otherwise just really hasn't attempted to play it as James Hetfield does. None of the three guys you mentioned would be able to do it either.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Frank, more so than anyone. Like, his entire approach is about economy of motion.
Yep.
There's nothing economic about downpicking an entire song.
Not at all. It's sheerly about force. It's all dynamic.
So Danny comes back. Hey, Riffard, listen to Nitro. Jim Gillette and Michelangelo co-wrote everything together. However, as an instrumental guitarist, words are unimportant to me. The music moves me.
So many full stops, so little actual punctuation, spaces, and then a full stop, and stop it. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Riffard. Michelangelo can do upside down but this is Riffard's comment, or John's comment. Michelangelo can do upside down in both hands, but really, who cares about that other than guitarists? And just because he can do that doesn't mean that he has the stamina to play all of Master of Puppets, how it's meant to be played, all downpicked, like James. Try it and see how far you get. There's a reason why Hetfield, Scott Ian, and the Thrash guys all did it, because it actually sounds infinitely better for rock and metal. Even most metal studio engineers and producers would tell you the same thing. Danny comes back. Name me one guitarist who picks up the guitar thinking, I want to be an average rhythm guitarist, other than the great Malcolm Young. Not even Scott Ian. I've seen interviews of him stating otherwise. He's just accepted the role, not accepted. Accepted the role.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a language barrier here.
Sure. Everyone picks it up with a desire to be incredible. So to answer everyone, blah, 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 blah. Right, now John's had enough. This is where John's had enough. Post a video of you playing Master of Puppets with all downpicking then. And the response is, how about I post a video of James Hetfield playing Master of Puppets not using all downpicking, since it's on YouTube right now. Can talk the talk, but can't walk the walk. Danny again. Oh, I'll post one. Got to get a camera first, though, asshole. John. There's a camera on your phone. Excuses. If it's so easy, please post it. Show us how it's done. Danny. I'm on a computer, not a phone. Now what, smart ass? John. Okay, let's make this more interesting. If you can send me a video in the next hour of you playing Master of Puppets all the way through, played tightly and executed well, I will send you a guitar from my collection. Timer rolling. Go.
I see John's not a guitar down yet.
Yeah. Danny, lol, you're a joke. Like what? John, 47 minutes remaining. Danny, stupid fuck. Not going to be bullied into anything. Was going to post one, but now since you're an asshole, fuck you. I smell a boomer in here.
That's my football and I'm going home.
Yeah, why? Like, just why? John knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. When it comes to rhythm guitar and downpicking, John is the man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's no one quite like John. And I just can't get it. I just don't understand it. Why you just shit on rhythm. He's absolutely right. I think Danny is probably absolutely right. Very few people pick up the guitar wanting to be an exceptional rhythm guitar player. They all have these dreams of being in the spotlight. I think that's what draws us to guitar, right? Because it's such a spotlighty instrument. But he totally skips over the fact that as a guitar player, you get to stand in that spotlight maybe 5% of the time. And the rest of the time is you handling rhythm guitar duties. And you got to be damn good at it.
Yes.
What would happen if I laid the challenge down to you?
I couldn't do it. I could try it, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you could. It would just take you some time. Because
if I sat and practiced, I'd probably get there, but I don't exclusively downpick.
No. You have actually, I really enjoy watching you play Party Cannon and stuff because you have this real, almost like, when I watch you play, it looks like you're miming, even if you're playing acoustically, because you've just got this, your hand is just so smooth and relaxed when you're doing everything. and you can't play Master of Puppets and have like a relaxed looking hand because it's
you can't.
relentless. Yeah,
Fuck that.
I kind of want to make it a challenge for both of us to get Master of Puppets up to speed.
Okay.
It is something that I do every now and again. I think I always talk about Master of Puppets for this very reason. It was something that I used to do. That was something that I could proudly say, yeah, I can do that, no problem. Because I did used to do that when I was into Mick Thompson and I wanted to be super good heavy metal rhythm guitar player. I remember seeing Mick Thompson saying, you've got to play Master of Puppets, you've got to downpick it all. So I built up the stamina to do that. But that stamina is long gone. I can barely make it to the verse now. And
practice.
If I get to the verse, my arm looks and feels like it's about to fall off. So, yeah, like, come on.
I think the hardest part would be retraining yourself. And obviously, the stamina will come if you practice enough, but retraining yourself not to just go into that economy picking mode.
Yeah, and to be efficient about it. It's, yeah.
Okay, challenge accepted.
It upsets me because, like, I still know the song. I could still play you the entire song, and I know all the riffs. It's a long song. It's, 8 minutes long?
Something like that.
I could probably still play most of the solo for you as well. But, yeah, just the stamina to downpick it all, to be really inefficient about how you're doing it. But John's totally right, doing it for the right reason, because it sounds better. It just sounds better. So I really enjoyed that, and it's nice to see that some people won't take your shit, and John is a guy that won't take your shit. So
what we're saying to end this is that once you and I have put our videos up, John's going to send us a guitar each. Thanks, John.
That's the other thing with this, right? What's this last comment? Stupid fuck. Not going to be bullied into anything. Was going to post one, but since you're an asshole, fuck you. Like, what have you got to lose? Post your video, man. You make John Brown look like an idiot. You make yourself look really good. And you get a guitar out of the situation that, worst case scenario, you don't want, so you sell for a lot of money. You have nothing to lose. Apart from your own pride, because...
What he had to lose was the fact he was playing a stupid game and he won a stupid prize.
Yeah. People making fun of him on the internet, and yeah, he'll go down in his... Well, actually, he won't, because we won't remember his name this time next week. So
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Hats off to you, John Brown. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Would like more of it. So please continue to upset people. Why don't we do the mid-roll thing, the thing that we always talk about the midpoint of these episodes these days?
Ormsby guitars.
And TTM.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like, okay, we'll just get that in there.
Well, no, it works because we're often talking with Perry about TTM.
That was almost like the thing that we have for dinner. Oh, a T-bone steak. No spam.
There it is.
TTM.
I've still not plugged that thing in.
I know. I took it to the studio and we didn't plug it in. Right, sorry, I totally went off the rails there. Go for it.
No. So, yeah.
Talk to me.
I see what you did there. Totally taking meth. That's
Tuesday's monstrosity.
Because these boys absolutely fucking must be. Yeah, so... What's the latest on TTM? What is the latest on TTM? Well, I'm waiting for news from Andrew on the updates from the federal agencies that they have chasing them.
But it does look as if they're trying to cover their costs by now offering pianos and keyboards.
Well, I did get this is really enjoyable actually, because obviously this stuff is all public. And when I say public, I don't mean you can just go online and find it, but you have access to it.
Yeah.
It's public record, so you're dealing with government agencies, so that you can go to these government agencies and say, I would like to request a copy of that particular document. Mm-hmm. So Andrew sent me correspondence from Martin Cordell. Martin Cordell is of, let's have a look. He is the financial legal examiner for the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions and Securities. So
that sounds like a serious ass title.
Yes, and this has then been followed up by another gentleman, Eric Palasari, maybe, from the Securities Division and Enforcement Unit, the Department of Financial Institutions, again Washington State. So Martin Cordell sent John Hussey an email, who is I actually think he's California based, but I think he set up a Washington State franchise because that's where he was able to do it. So, dear Mr. Hussey, the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions Securities Division is the state agency that regulates the offer and sale of franchises offered, sold, and or operated in the state. It has come to my attention that you may have purchased a franchise territory in the state of Washington and are doing business under the name TTM Guitars Franchise Washington State at, and then lists their website, which you should go and look at because it's an absolute fucking shit show.
Like the rest of the TTM website?
Well, yeah, no, this is something different. Like Lance has got some money and has been able to pay people to put a website together. You know, how much experience do you have building websites?
Other than putting HTML into my MySpace fucking page 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Zilch.
It looks like you designed this page.
Hey! Leave me alone.
So
this is TTM Washington?
TTMguitarsWashingtonstate.com. So the email goes on. I would like to confirm that you did purchase a franchise business to be operated in the state of Washington, and I would appreciate it if you would let me know if there is a time and telephone number I could give you a call on. With your permission, I would also like to review a copy of your franchise agreement. I can be contacted via phone number and list his phone number, or via email, list his email.
Sorry to interrupt you, right? I've just went on to that TTM Guitars Washington State. That is like free webs.
Yeah.
But I think the worst crime, if you can bring it up, is on that site there is a banner which is a montage of guitars, none of which are actually finished. I'm speechless, man. Look at the state of them. Look at the state of that website. What the fuck?
Distributor R for Washington State. And it's funny because, like, obviously when Lance has had to shut down his original company because he had been selling franchises, these originally said TTM Guitars Franchisor.
Yeah.
That's why there's a secondary R there.
All USA assembled guitars are personal setups of owner and passionate guitarist Lance Benedict. To make sure our customers get the best service around, our outstanding staff are ready to help in any way they can. We can advise our customers on models and price. We can also help you test any guitars you would like before you buy.
How on earth can you do that, seeing as you guys yourself have only got one of the damn guitars? I'm just gonna bring John up on screen so we can just have a laugh at taking that meth.
It's just some madness going on there, man.
Yeah. I'll come back to these emails in a second. Where the hell?
Are you looking for what I just mentioned?
I was looking for the picture of John, but my Facebook is a laggy mess and I hate it. Nope, not there.
No, I was going to say I don't think it'll be in that chat.
Andrew's chat.
Okay.
There is. Imagine having your business represented by these two guys. Like, come on.
Serious business.
You're supposed to be fucking businessmen. Anyway, so that was the original email. That was fired off to John Hussey on June 19th. I think my wife will probably deal with that. So follow-up email on August 27th. Mr. Hussey, my colleague, Martin Cordell, sent you the email below a few months ago inquiring about your purchase of a TTM Guitars franchise. If you have time in the coming weeks, I would appreciate it if you could please contact me to discuss your purchase of this franchise. Washington's Franchise Investment Protection Act provides protections to franchises like yourself, and I would be happy to discuss these protections and the Act with you during our call. Our office does not have any concerns at this time about your compliance with the Act. Please feel free to reach out and contact me. Guys, your time is fucking running out. You're being chased. And the insane thing is that these franchise owners, John and his brother, and Jason McCulloch, who owns the Nashville one, they're still just not putting two and two together. They are like, if I got an email like that through, I would be shitting myself. Like, what have I gotten myself into here? What the fuck what am I doing?
But let's not forget that Lance has convinced him so far, whether it's him directly or Brock or just themselves, not to put the blame entirely on him. But they've took themselves this far. They're going to keep going because they believe that that's a mistake or it's a malicious attempt from someone. Let's be honest, you and Andrew have both been demonized as some sort of fucking, I don't even know.
An extortionist.
That's right, you were the extortionist. That'd be a good name for your gent band.
Yeah, the extortionist. I like it. But now it seems that Lance is he's turning to new things. Seeing as he's got such a wonderful reputation for selling guitars.
Oh yeah, and fulfilling those orders.
Yeah, he's now mixing things up, and he's now moved into. Where's the picture? Are you ready for this, guys? He's now moved into selling pianos.
It's a brand, baby. Smiley face.
Pianos.
The Opus series. So these are just some really, really bad stock photos of grand pianos and digital pianos, I assume. And he's had TTM photoshopped over the edge of the black one in the top left.
Yeah.
For people that are listening and can't see this, it's pretty bad.
It's just an astonishing concept, right? Because when you make something and you sell it, and people buy those things from you, the customer has the expectation that you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you make a product that you know about.
But it doesn't make a product.
Well, exactly. So when you look at someone like this, who, I'm going to make an assumption, this is an assumption, probably doesn't play piano. I've seen his guitar playing, so probably doesn't play piano. And starts saying to you, let me sell you a grand piano. It's not even doesn't play piano. Building pianos is not for a hobbyist.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you can knock up a solid body electric guitar on the cheap. You could probably do that in your garage, right? It's not the hardest thing in the world to do, especially if you do what I suspect Lance has done, which is just order your necks. It's easy enough to build a body and bolt a neck onto it, right? Transitioning into building an acoustic guitar, that's a whole different kettle of fish. There's skill involved in that. Building a fucking grand piano.
Think how long and how much work it takes to tune a piano.
Yeah.
And Lance is telling us that his company can build them and tune them from scratch.
Yes.
Okay. Are these taller than midgets?
You'd hope so, yeah.
That digital keyboard at the bottom on the X stand, that's quite low. That's probably not as tall as a midget.
But it gets better. It does get better.
Mm-hmm.
He's also doing drums.
They are coming. A really badly photoshopped drum kit with what looks like a Batman symbol for the lug. See where the toms go onto the body?
Yeah.
And he's just photoshopped really, really badly the TTM logo over the front skin of the bass drum.
Yeah.
And then Evans at the bottom. I don't imagine Evans are in any way, shape or form anything to do with TTM.
Yeah, I feel like Evans would probably want to have a word over that.
Yeah. And then he's also got TTM really badly photoshopped onto a little square, was that a placard really? A silver panel on one of the floor toms. And then TTM on the top of the snare head, even though they don't make skins. So why TTM would be there, I have no idea. What the fuck? And it's not even as if it's well done.
Because it's not important about being well done, right?
Nope.
I
think this falls under what the Nigerian scammers do, or I say Nigerian, that's obviously the stereotype.
Sure.
The email with the badly spelled shit because they want to weed out the intelligent people.
Yes. Yeah. The thing with it is he posted saying, I can't give away too much information. I'm paraphrasing. Can't give away too much information right now, but you guys are going to want to go into your back gardens and dig up those mason jars. Right, so he's talking about savings, isn't he? That's what he's getting at there.
Say that again. You've totally lost me in context.
He's saying, I can't reveal too much information, but this thing is going to be big. You guys, in reference to his fans, his customers, his artists, are going to want to go out into your backyards and dig up those mason jars.
Oh, okay.
Okay, talking savings, right?
Yeah.
You guys are going to want to get some money together.
Give me all your money!
Yeah. This is not going to be about buy a drum kit from me.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be about buy a piano from me. this is going to be about
Become
is
a
an investment
distributor.
opportunity.
Yes, become a distributor.
Yeah. Give
Make
me money. Yeah, exactly. It's MLMs. TTMLM. That's the new one. TTMLM. I like that. So I just thought I would, throw that update out there because, still waiting on those lawyers. Still waiting. So am I still waiting for TTM to deliver?
That was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, that was. Cool. So another quick one. System of a Down. We like System.
Yes, I would love to see more Ormsby, more System of a Down music.
Yep.
Would love that. Will it happen?
No.
No.
System of a Down bassist on new music. Why it isn't happening is a big question. So System of a Down bassist Shavo Adosian really, really, really wants the band to write and record new music and hasn't been shy about saying so lately in the press. That there is enough of enough evidence that it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because when you're being very vocal about what you want to happen in the press, you've had those conversations in private with the people involved. And this is a tactic to try and get other people to apply pressure to those people to make it happen. So, this we have talked about this before, and it breaks my heart. Because I want this music. I want new music more than anything in the world. And we'll talk about another band who just released new music in a second. Actually, a couple. So in this, here's a quote. So minus Serge, because at the time he was doing a lot of solo stuff, and we were like, dude, we don't want to wait around. Let's just get in there and see what we can do. We got in there and wrote like 10 or 11 songs. Darren bought like 7 or 8 songs. I bought 4 or 5 ideas that became songs, minus Serge's vocals, of course. It was really good. It came out really great. And I hope one day to get back in there with some of Serge's stuff. And I know Serge has got some stuff. In my world, man, why isn't it happening is a big question. I think we can get over anything because it's not like someone's done anything so horrible that we can't get over it. Ain't nothing like that. It's just creative differences that are lasting a little too long for me, for my tastes. It's been so long. I don't even remember why we're not going in there at this point. You know what I mean? Well, that's odd because we know why you're not going in there because we covered it on the show before. Business, money. Darren wanted the lion's share of everything. Darren wanted the lion's share of the publishing. Darren wanted to be, here's the difficult one. Darren wanted to be what he would deem fairly compensated for his input rather than going equals with everyone. Darren wanted to go Dutch.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And I don't know if I even hold that against him. You know what I mean?
Well,
he is absolutely the driving creative force in that band. Without him, there is no System.
but you could say that about just about any band that has a guitarist that writes the majority of the music.
Yeah, I would. I would say James Hetfield is more important than Kirk Hammett in Metallica. I would say that James Hetfield deserves to make more money out of Metallica than Kirk Hammett does.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
I think that's where personal opinions and business opinions become very blurred. Very, very blurred, especially for a band who've done as well as System of a Down, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it could started this thing together as out of love. You can tell when you hear the music, they clearly have great chemistry together and they write about things that they believe in. For it then to boil down to, I want more money. I can see why that would sour it in everyone's eyes, and I can see maybe that's why Serge is taking a step back, because he's like, I like this guy personally, business-wise, I don't want to deal with him.
Yes.
Because when you read more into this interview, he's talking about how they do hang out, they're great friends, but they just never get back into the studio.
Yeah. And this is the old creative differences argument, right? I think that creative differences is a catch-all term that you hear time and time again, right? I think a lot of the time it's covering shit like this. I think
it's unforeseen circumstances, but for people rather than businesses.
Yeah.
Or events.
Money is a great thing to get between friends and can ruin working relationships. Thankfully, that's not an issue here because we don't make any.
We want more money.
But one day, if we make loads of money, I'm going to want 51%. Sorry.
51? Cool. I'll take the 49, but also I'll own your house.
I mean, we'll be making so much money that I can live
Mad
with that.
bank. Yeah. Mad fat stacks.
Yeah.
Shit's cash, yo. Something like that.
So just in that first part, Chavez being a bit delusional, isn't he? Like, well, we went into the studio without Serge because at the time he's doing a lot of solo stuff. Look, dude. If this guy wants to go out and do his solo stuff more than he wants to get in a studio with one of the biggest bands on the face of the planet for that genre, for what would be one of the most anticipated albums that we'll probably see in our lifetime, for that scene again. Yes. He'd rather go out and do his solo stuff.
You say for that scene, they're not an underground band.
Sure, but I mean rock and metal.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right, I get you. Sorry, I thought you meant more so like not pigeonholing them, but saying like of a specific kind.
Well, it will come out. It will go to number 1 in the charts, and it's the kind of album that Simon Cowell will be like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" You know what I mean? Like,
probably try and sign them.
Same as Slipknot, or Tool, who we'll talk about in a second, if we have to. So, the fact that he'd rather go out and play with his solo act, and instead of the band that put him in a position where he could have a solo act, tells you everything that you need to know. It's never happening. Well, it will happen. It will happen, but we'll be old. It will be past the point of us caring, but we'll still buy it.
It'll be in 30 years' time in Wembley, just like Zeppelin did it.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask the kids in Tiananmen Square?
Yeah. We'll be down there shelling out £500 for a ticket at the back, and we'll be laughing at all the kids outside that can't afford to be there. Because we made it big in a podcast.
That's it. Just fucking throwing £100 notes. Well, it'll be £1 million notes because Brexit's coming and we know hyperinflation is going to be right up the back of that. Take this £3 million note that's worth $30.
Yeah.
Fucking take it, throw it away, right at the crowd.
Yeah. So
I think it's probably going to be more like Fallout. I think we're going to be throwing bottle caps.
That's going to be our new economy. I hope so. I can get on board with that.
I hope so.
Other new music. Before we do the Tool thing, let's just have a quick laugh at Rings of Saturn. Because you have to, don't you? You got to have a laugh at Rings of Saturn.
Yes and no. Now, that's the first I've listened to. It was just before this podcast. Levi, let me hear this track. This is called The Husk. This came out on the 30th of August. I think it's just a new single from the newest album, which, according to this, is called Get 'Em and comes out on the 25th of October. That'll be an interesting listen. My mate, Mike Caputo plays drums for them live. I know it was Marco Petruzella that done the recordings, but Mike's in the video. Shout out to Mike. I don't think this is necessarily a bad track. It kept my attention. It was pretty cool, but that's not your criticism, is it?
Yeah, no. I have a lot of positive things I can say about this. I did enjoy the track, and I actually really enjoy the music video. The music video cool. is very unsettling.
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck. It's like the Thank You Scientist video with the alien abduction, but in a creepy way.
Yeah.
A very Spider Fingers way.
It's funny that they list Mass Effect being one of their... not Mass Effect, sorry. Was Dead Space. It's been one of their influences to their music, because this video, Dead Space at the ass.
Yeah, super, just creepy. So I did genuinely enjoy the music video, and I did enjoy a lot of the music, a lot of the ideas. There's some really cool stuff in there.
Some great riffs.
It's just the typical Kings of Guitar Pro thing. There's some laughable guitar parts in here that the highlight for me is, I'm not going to play it because I don't want the copyright strike. I know you really want to do it, don't you?
Just that section you were talking about,
the clean
right?
part.
Yes.
340.
Right. But
okay.
Let's do a side by side, right?
I mean, here comes that copyright strike.
Surely a couple of seconds will be all right. Right, so you're welcome to me.
From here?
It's just basically the intro will give you the guitar tone, right? So...
Okay, so that's
TLC, no scrubs, right?
Okay.
Guitar harpsichord, kind of clean, and then you get Rings of Saturn, just a little nod to TLC.
Is that bum ba-dum ba-dum?
I don't even think it's that. I think it's the fact that it's quite clearly not an instrument.
No, the thing that breaks me, bum ba-dum ba-dum.
Oh, I get you.
None of it rings into anything. Like, that's not how acoustic guitar works.
Yeah, that's not how any instrument works, really.
That right there is a sample played on piano.
To be fair to them, there is no part in that video where they're playing, or this clean guitar part starts, that shows them pretending they're playing it.
Fair.
So I'll give them credit where that is. If they're not trying to pass that as an acoustic guitar that's actually played, then fair enough.
Yeah, but then you'd have to ignore all of the other parts in the track that are so obviously not real guitar.
I've got a feeling they record the guitar parts over the MIDI and try and blend it. That's what they've done before. That's my interpretation of how it's recorded, to keep it tight and extra loud and everything, to have that same level of attack, and they're being like kind of super compressed, no variance at all in dynamic.
I think it's just recorded at half speed.
Might be.
Because you never hear them playing stuff that's doing this, the finger quotations, they're out of time. They never play out of time, which is stuff I really enjoy. Like in my rock players, I like the Malmsteens, I like the Van Halens, I like the Michael Romeos. I like it when lines float over the beat. They're just exciting. They start perfectly on time, and then they play, and then they hit that exit, and it's vividly in time again, and you just get that sense of chaos and excitement.
Pure control.
And you don't.
I don't have to play to the grid. I can do what I want.
Yeah, I can float like a motherfucker, and you just don't get that with this. Everything's rigidly in time. Everything is meticulously composed, and it needs to be, because I like the end result. But the upside of that is, you meticulously compose something, you can then sit down and meticulously record it at half speed, because you know exactly how this sounds at half speed.
Well, I think that's also part of the delivery of the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously that super clean tech, big emphasis on keeping the rhythms super tight, everything locked in, like quantized for the start, kind of, to use the wrong term for what I mean. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, as you say, on the grid, everything's snapped in perfect.
Yeah. So
it's part of the delivery of the music, I suppose.
I'm not going to criticise them for it, because the same argument I always make, right? Mozart. I have a sneaking suspicion that he probably couldn't play the bassoon. But I'm never going to listen to his compositions and say, this is bullshit. Well, how has he written that bassoon part? He couldn't play that. Because he's a composer, right? And this is a composition. And as a composition, it absolutely functions.
Yeah, and it's cool. So
I'm not crazy on the production.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. Same as we try to do with everybody when we're making a point, right? Lucas, cool track.
Yeah, well, I think here's the ultimate kind of nod of approval, right? If they're playing Glasgow, we're probably going to go and see them, right?
Yeah,
Because
potentially.
we just want to see it. See
I would go just for the sake of hanging with Mike.
Yeah.
So there's great reason.
So cool. Hurry that one up, guys.
Yeah.
Or maybe take your time with it. Probably worth mentioning Tool, because everybody's talking about Tool right now, right?
I've not listened to it.
Tool. I've not listened to it either.
Great.
It's my favorite Tool album. The highlight of Tool for me is how they're back on Spotify. Well, not back on. Sorry, they're on Spotify. And all the Tool fans are like, "Oh my god, Tool are on Spotify! Oh my god, Tool are on Spotify!" I've not been able to listen to Tool. There's been no way for me to listen to this band that I absolutely love. But now they're on Spotify, I can finally listen to them.
I think Tool were playing a very, very clever marketing game there, because not only have they pushed the interest and the hype for this new album way over, they've pushed the hype for all their albums. I think every one of their albums is in some sort of top 10 through Spotify or whatever streaming sites, just because they all launched. The timing was impeccable. They're not going to make any money off that, but it doesn't matter, because
they'll make money off it. They've also just uploaded all of their music videos to their YouTube channel.
Well, they make money off that. I mean, Spotify, they've obviously went, cool, well, here's my interpretation of it. They've spent a long time deliberating when's the right time for us to upload this music and let it be public and let people into the upper echelons of Tool, whatever you want to call it, right? And whoever has been in charge of marketing went, right before your album comes out, and then you can start hitting all the social media stuff and absolutely reap the rewards of that. Because you're right, the music videos, as soon as they go up, if they're monetized, are going to make a fucking killing.
Yep. They've been very smart with their business. Still just doesn't do anything for me.
I like Tool, but I don't get the hype. I'll be honest, I have never really sat and listened to Radiohead either. Again, don't really get the hype. It sounds stupid, but see, when bands are super, super hyped as being the best and super inventive, etc., it kind of fills me with dread to go and listen.
Yeah. Because
I don't want to be hyped up to expect this ground-changing thing, and then I hear it and I go, it's either not for me or it's nowhere near as overwhelming as I expected.
Yes. The thing with this album is everyone's got an opinion, which is why I'm not interested in having one. If you love the album, awesome. If you hate the album, probably don't say it publicly because you're going to get lambasted for it.
I'll tell you one better. If you saw Kieran's video, the tool review.
No. Is Kieran still uploading? I think I must have been unsubscribed from him on YouTube.
I think he's only had a couple of videos recently from when I was talking to him the other day. He was saying, put it on, it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, we can just steal it. It's your brother. What's he going to do?
He'll love it. Yeah, he told me that he has barely been posting because he's been working so hard on his EP. He's recording a lot of music to release, and I think he's got a few guys on board to help release it, mix it, master it, put it through a label, etc. Fucking full credit to him, man. He's going for it. Yeah, let's watch this.
It's finally here. A lot of people have been asking me my opinion on it, so I've decided it's my time to review it. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'm talking about new tool, my new hammer. Ladies and gentlemen, this hammer is a Rolson 20-ounce claw hammer. It's a heavy-duty purpose hammer, has tubular steel handle on it as well, has a great grip on it. Quite a heavy piece, but it'll instantly do the job if needed. The thing with Rolson tools is they produce all of the products in an extremely high and diligent standard. All the products come with the Roslin seal of approval, allowing you to feel confident in the fact if you're
Sounds like us advertising Ormsby.
still not convinced, let me show you a quick little demo, but of course, safety first, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to test out this hammer and the efficiency of it on this unparticular, uninteresting CD case. Watch and learn, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no, it's still going.
As you can see, it's done some relative damage. Not enough damage though. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the Roslin 20-ounce claw hammer is the perfect tool for smashing things to fucking pieces. By the way, the new Tool album's a bit boring.
Absolute fucking champion. As usual, absolute fucking champion.
You know what I love, right? Kieran is young, but he's got so many dad jokes. Everything is like a pun.
Yeah.
But it's perfectly executed.
Yep. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. That, I think, is probably better than the new Tool album. So,
Kieran's got a video that he hasn't uploaded. I don't know whether to mention it here or not because I'm dying for him to put it up. He sent me it and I was fucking killing myself laughing.
He's probably sent it to me. I remember he sent me a video a couple of...
Was it a playthrough video by any chance?
Let me have a look. I can never spell your brother's name. K-E.
K-I-E.
K-I-E.
Yes. You were correct. You can't ever spell it. Just set a nickname for him. It's K-Mac and you can search that.
Good point.
I saved you as Patch Adams because you ignored one of my messages. What's this? Is this his video? This might be it.
Yeah.
It fucking is.
Yeah. I've turned the sound off so no one knows what it is. I mean, apparently he's only sent it to you and me.
Yeah, it's not listed yet, so don't play it.
No, I won't.
Have you watched it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, classic. I mean,
like you sent me, and he's like, I don't know whether to upload it or not. I'm like, fucking do it right now. That is class.
Yeah, he'll end up with a copyright strike for that.
Yeah, but
it's worth it. On the tool front, I always like to mention this. I like to constantly bring this up because I was talking in Game Shop that I play in.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to know a bunch of people that both play Magic, but also play role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Role-playing games not really my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand
You're
it.
talking about Dungeons and Dragons, etc.
That type of thing, but they also like to do their own custom things outside of the shop. So there's a guy in there that really, really likes Silent Hill.
Right.
So he's doing his own Silent Hill role-playing thing at his house, and he's invited some of the people in the shop to play.
It's live action roleplay or desktop?
Desktop.
That's good because
Yeah.
Don't LARP. Please don't ever become a LARPer. Otherwise, the podcast is going to have to end.
Yeah. No, I'm not even doing the desktop. I'm not involved. I wasn't invited because it's not my scene. It's not really what I'm also don't even really like Silent Hill, to be honest. Anyway, so yeah, I know.
A computer game you don't like?
I know. So I was talking to one of the guys in the shop about it, and he's like, no, he's like, he's gone way overboard with this Silent Hill thing. Like, you can't. He's put rape in it. Like, right? You can't do that. What do you mean? You can't put rape in a role-playing game. What? Why? Is it being played in the shop? No, he's doing it in his house. Right? It's just a bit heavy, isn't it? Mate, it's a fucking Silent Hill RPG. You'd expect there to be some pretty fucking heavy, disgusting themes in it. Not my cup of tea, but again, like, if you sign up to go over to a guy's house to have some fucking Silent Hill role-playing story type thing,
You should expect it to be
you would expect there to be some fucked up shit in there.
really fucked zombie dogs, Pyramid Head,
Yeah.
the most stupid and somehow unbelievably terrifying character you have ever fucking clapped eyes on.
Yeah, and why? Why is Pyramid Head so terrifying? Because there's a scene where he rapes things in the game.
I don't even remember
Silent
that.
Hill 2. It was absolutely horrifying.
There we
Anyway,
go.
so
the nurses, the sexy nurses that have the bandaged faces that are creepy as
yeah,
fuck.
there's a scene of him raping those.
Oh,
Yeah, like, and that's the whole. But like, it's just ridiculous and unsettling. Like, that's what you expect of Silent Hill. Anyway, I bring this up for a reason because he's a really nice guy. I like the guy a lot, but he's like, that's too heavy, because he's that's not a bad trait to have as a person. Like, he's being considerate of people, but I think everybody that is going to be involved in this role playing thing is going to know what they're getting themselves in for.
yeah. If you're into Silent Hill enough to play it, a custom game, desktop role playing in someone's house, you're probably into the lore.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I say, he's a super nice guy, and he's just concerned about people's feelings. He's very much you listen. Hopefully, you see where I'm going with this. You listen to victims, kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You listen. You believe victims. You always believe victims.
Mm-hmm.
He's super hyped for the new Tool album because he's like, Maynard James Keenan, he's a god. And I'm like, I absolutely agree with you, mate. He absolutely is a god because you have to be god tier. God tier. I can see your smile now. You have to be god tier in the music world to have accusations of rape levied against you and for no one to really give a shit.
Yep.
Yourself included. And I saw this because he had no idea. He had no idea.
Man.
And then I showed him and I could see this conflict in him of,
You know what? It's funny you bring this up. Sorry to kind of beeline, right, but it is related. The last time we spoke about this, really, I'm sure we were talking about Darren Malakian. Because we were talking about separating art from artist.
yes.
So just funny how that ties in. We was talking about System of a Down last, isn't it?
And we're always talking about the same things on this show.
I know, man.
But
fucking-
yeah, man. Like, again, I don't want to play the believe victims role or the he didn't do it role because I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't know.
Investigate thoroughly and draw conclusions from evidence.
Yeah, well, that's why it's so difficult with that as a subject though, because you're talking about legacy claims, things that happened years and years and years ago. There's no way to prove it either way. So you have to just be sympathetic of the person making the claim. But in this instance, because he's god tier, people just years ago, forget about it. Which is not right.
No, it's not. But no, what? There's plenty of people who have had, as you put it, legacy claims levied towards them and not gotten away with it.
Yes, no, that is true.
So it's case by case, and also I think a big part of that is how their public perception is to start with.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to be in that elite, you'll get away with it.
I mean, I don't put much weight behind these particular claims. They don't add up in terms of like the consistent stories that you hear from other people. But also at the same time, let's not pretend that those claims haven't been made. They have been made, but it's all right because he's god tier. Oh, there's a heavy one. Should we get on to the final subject, something a little bit fun? Well, not fun,
Yes.
but we'll talk music. So it's 2019. It's the time of. I'll tell you how I'm going to approach this, right?
Go for it.
Do you remember why subscription TV died?
Freeview? No?
No.
Why?
Well,
Subscription
Sky's-
TV being what?
Sky.
Sky and cable then?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Internet.
Yeah, which resulted in
Netflix and streaming services and just technology moving on.
things being cheap, right?
That too, yeah,
So
okay.
yes, the internet allowed Netflix to proliferate as much as it has, and therefore who's paying £90 a month for a Sky subscription, or whatever your relevant TV service subscription is?
People that like football that don't know much about the internet.
Yes.
Really, it's like your general easy consumer.
Yeah, and it took a massive chunk, but the Netflix thing took such a massive chunk out of Sky's revenue.
I bet whoever was responsible for Blockbuster hearing the pitch for Netflix and knocking it back is absolutely kicking themselves. You fucking moron.
Yeah, but
Sorry, excuse me.
I think we're seeing evidence now of things always going in circles,
Yep.
right? And we make the same mistakes. Too many content creators are looking at the Netflix model and going, we can do that ourselves, right? So
Okay.
what you want is one place that you buy your thing from. You only need one service, okay?
Steam.
So Steam,
Steam's
perfect.
got the stranglehold
Yeah.
of games.
To a degree, Spotify.
Yep. Spotify's probably the most popular. To be fair, I started all internet streaming that I did for music that wasn't on YouTube, was on Spotify. I remember getting a beta code and getting in for free, and I had it for about a year and a half, and it had hundreds of music on it, like that even then, and it was fantastic. No adverts. You occasionally got something talking about like you can make a party playlist and it'll do it for you and blah blah blah. And then it started getting you to pay for it.
Yep.
And that's when Google Play Music and did iTunes have a streaming service?
Apple Music came a lot later.
Yeah, but those things came out, and then Pandora and Tidal and whatever else. Yeah, sorry.
But the point is, with music, Spotify works because not all, but virtually all the music you could ever want is on there.
Yes.
And there's no real difference between Spotify and Google Play Music, right?
No, not too much.
Or
I think there's a bit
Apple
more
Music.
brutal death metal on Google Play for some reason. But that's just a completely weird coincidence that I've realised that. Exactly.
Yeah. If, for example, though, you were in a world where, only 20% of music was on Spotify, and then 20% of it was on Google Play Music, and 20% of it was on Apple, and you needed a subscription to all of them if you wanted to access these things, that's where you'd start to run into problems, right? And we are starting to head that way with media again.
Mm-hmm.
Disney.
Exclusives.
Disney are pulling their content from Netflix because they're launching Disney Plus. But
Right.
HBO have their own thing.
HBO Go, is it?
Yeah, and Amazon Prime. Like, I subscribe to Netflix, and I also subscribe to Amazon Prime. I was with Disney Life for a while, just for the wife, but not now.
Liar. It's for you to watch Lady and the Tramp.
She subscribed to Crunchyroll for a while as well. The anime
Don't know.
anime streaming.
Okay.
So, point is, we're going to find ourselves in that place again, whereby for TV, for your media, you're going to need to be subscribed to several different sites, and each one is £10, and 4 or 5 of them add up to more than you want to be spending.
Yes. That's why I always was put off by Amazon Prime. Prime Video is, you have access to all these titles, not that you can play them unless you pay more money. I found the significant...
Unless you filter by things that are included with Prime.
So,
yeah.
Let me rephrase.
I don't like their interface for that.
I found the significant majority of content that was even worth clicking was £4 or £5 easy.
Yeah. I actually am moving into the land where I prefer Prime over Netflix. But yeah, I have considered cancelling my Netflix subscription only because that's the point. Like, it just starts to add up, all these subscriptions to all these different sites. Anyway, there's a reason I brought this up, because you're like, what the fuck has this got to do with music? I kind of feel the same way about plugins.
Yep.
I'm kind of starting to get that way with plugins because there are so many great options out there. What I feel we would benefit from is a platform where you could get what you wanted from it. You could buy the things from it. Kind of like, like Guitar Rig has the custom shop thing where you can go in and buy pedals or whatever. The reason I bring this up is because this week, or in the last couple of weeks, 2 new plugin suites have hit the market, and annoyingly, they both look cool. First up is a friend of the show, Mr. Andy James, has released STL Tones plugin suite. So Tonality, Andy James. And it features an all-in-one guitar plugin suite developed exclusively from Andy James' signature guitar sounds. Using the most advanced modeling algorithms, users can experience real-time simulations of Andy James' actual go-to amps, and our software uses internal circuit simulations from the schematics of the specific amplifiers Andy uses every day. Designed by STL Tones, the Andy James plugin suite has been developed to capture every song aspect of what makes Andy James guitar tones so sought after. The plugin suite takes your direct input guitar signal all the way to the fully mixed guitar tone with its unique all-in-one design. And as you scroll through...
Says unique all-in-one design. That's not quite true. Just about every VST has its own all-in-one plugin.
That's the point. Like, it's just... It frustrates me. I'm looking at this, and it comes with 3 amps. So what are these... This is
I can never tell what they are. I mean, the one on the left...
EVH.
Doesn't look anything like EVH. It doesn't have the stripes. The one in the middle doesn't look like a PV6505 at all. It doesn't have the same faceplate or dimensions. And the one on the right can't be a Vox.
I'll just bring this up so people can see.
Yeah.
So you're getting 3 amps. There's also a pedal, like a physical pedal that he has released, which is kind of cool.
The Revenant.
But yeah, in the plugin, you also get some pedals.
That Overdrive, the OD808, there's a free version of that online. That exact pedal.
Right.
I don't know if it's STL that released it, but I've got that pedal as a plugin, and I mean exactly the same. The only difference is that one says STL tones on it.
Okay. I mean, that's probably like a stock pedal design that all of the sites are using. It comes with a preamp version of Andy's pedal and an effects module, delay, reverb, and lo-fi gain stuff. Cool. Like this is the kind of thing that will appeal to people. It absolutely is the kind of thing that will appeal to people. $89. It's on sale, I believe, down from 120. So $89, and you get a 10-day trial, which is cool. I'm not knocking it, because obviously I've not had the opportunity to play with it. It's just like I feel bad for Andy because he's coming into a market which is mildly saturated. Because who else have we got? You've got the Neuro DSP,
Plenty,
which is the Fortin.
Yep. You've got the Fortin one. You've got Nameless Suite. You've got the Meshuggah ones. That's the Nameless. Sorry. Then there's the NTS Suite, which is a couple of different amps done by DSP Neuro.
Yeah, Misha's one.
Yep. You've got Plenty's DSP one.
Right.
Who else has got them?
There are lots of them, is what we get. And now we're struggling to.
There's another few STL. There's a Tone Forge. You're right that there's so many of them.
Well, yeah. Even just looking at STL's site, they have a collection of them there. Of course, we're skipping over all of the other options that you have that aren't named. You got your guitar rig, Helix Native is popular. Bias, yeah, is very popular. Even just to be honest, the one I go for when I'm just wanting to knock up demos is Tune Track Easy Mix.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, there's an Andy James preset pack. I don't use those particular sounds, but if you went back and listened to all of the Hellcat Molly demos before, pre-production demos, it was all just the Devon Townsend presets from that. I bought those presets and they did a fine job. So got to feel bad for Andy, especially when the second plugin suite that has been released is Neuro DSP's Archetype by Nolly. Nolly Get Good. I wouldn't even say one of. Probably can I play this? Do you think I'm going to get a copyright strike for this?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because the song's written just for this.
Yeah, I mean, they could strike it, but we'll do it anyway.
I don't see why they would strike it. We're advertising them.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll put it at low volume. I'll do that in this. And I'll talk over it. So, I mean, it's Nolly, I'm not saying he doesn't have a pedigree as being, one of the biggest names in the genre in terms of legacy, in terms of years and years of reputation. But what he does have is a cutting edge thing. He is as good as they get, as we'll see now.
Nothing about that doesn't sound analog.
Say that again.
There's nothing about that doesn't sound analog.
Nah.
The amp sounds so real.
Yeah, he's just got a pedigree as a not just as a player, but as a producer, as a man that really, really, really fucking cares about tone, about sound.
Signal chain, exactly. Everything. He's meticulous. Is the only way I can really describe it. For anyone who's interested, and that obviously people will be interested in Andy James's as well, and I recommend they go and look into that. I haven't seen too much about it because Levi and I were only talking about it earlier on, and I introduced him to this one. But I watched a video last night of Nolly talking about how he came up with this and his approach to getting the tones that he wanted and what he wanted from the plugin. And it's astounding the level of detail that he went into. He physically modified his own amps that he owns, to make the 4 tones that he wanted for this. He did all the IRs himself from his own cabs. He's got a collection of speakers all the way from the 60s up till modern. And to hear him talk about it and just talk about the creation of the signal chain and the way, how meticulous he was in making sure he had the right sound. Because you can tell for the fact that his recordings are so clean and good that he is meticulous. He's super focused on getting that just right, like almost OCD style.
Yeah.
That this wasn't a labour, this was an act of love.
Yes.
This was a, how can I make the best product I can get a hold of? And I've no doubt whatsoever that Nolly would not have put his name on it if he didn't endorse it fully.
Yes.
If you remember what happened with the Vic guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
He was very quick to be like, no, bye.
Yeah.
And who else has Nolly endorsed other than Dark Glass and Dingwall?
Yeah, that's...
And that's because he uses their products and he loves them. That's the tones that he gets and he's happy with the sound. And he's obviously happy with the Dark Glass plugin as well, as you saw the video on playing through prayer position. Was it the pedal he's using? I can't remember.
The pedal.
The actual pedal. Well, there you go. Like he's using the equipment that he endorses. He's not taking it on and going, well, I mean, they've gave me this for free, so I'll do it. It's like, no, my name's on this, and my name's alongside the name of these products for the reasons that I trust them, I believe in them, I actually endorse them.
Yeah. And the thing I find most interesting about him is, well, as we know, like, he's a monster guitar player, but in terms of his recording career, you know, we think of him as a bass player. And it would be so easy if you don't know much about Nolly. You could just go, oh, wasn't he the bass player from Periphery?
He was, but that's probably the least interesting thing he's done.
Yeah. I mean, he did a great job playing bass in Periphery, but he was also the best guitarist in the band. Like, probably the most talented musician in the band. Like, he is responsible for a huge part of their sound.
Everything. The last 3 albums.
Yeah, even though he's not touring and playing with the band, he recorded the last album.
He also mixed it.
Yeah.
Because you remember we were talking about how he was saying that, I like Misha's studio, but it's not an ideal situation for actually listening to it and doing any mixes in.
Yeah.
Like, if you're that pernickety about how it sounds through a set of monitors that are, obviously they're all using top end gear, he's got a set of Adam monitors there that sound fucking fantastic.
Yeah. No
doubt. All the Adam stuff does. Ribbon tweeters and stuff, just like really, really high end, beautiful, totally don't fatigue your ears.
Yeah.
I'm away in a fucking rant now. But if he's able to just say, I don't like the acoustics of this room, they don't really bring out the mix properly.
Yeah.
Like, that's a guy who cares. That's a guy who's obviously super invested in getting it right.
Yeah. You know, I think, how do I put this? Music evolves, and there are changes and shifts in sound. And that's, to be honest, when you look at like the Guitar Boomer posting page, the whole point of that is really just making fun of people. It's not actually people that are of that baby boomer generation. Boomer is more than that. It's a term that you label to people that are old fashioned.
It's flippant.
Yes. But what that is it's essentially making fun of people that refuse to acknowledge change, refuse to acknowledge that things
Stuck
change.
in a period of time and a certain way of thinking.
Yes. And that's inevitable. That happens. Mm-hmm. We will absolutely be that when we reach that age.
I might still be right, or I might actually be right now. The way we talk about Rings of Saturn and Charles Caswell, etc., like Buried Alive, maybe that's going to be the next step. Maybe it's going to be a total integration of electronic and analog music.
Sure.
Like guitars becoming super digital. Like, if that's going to be the next thing, I might embrace it. Probably won't.
There are legendary producers, and we grew up listening to people that we would consider to be legendary producers on, like, maybe the metalcore scene. Guys like Andy Sneap.
Andy D. Fucking Andy D. Fucking Adam D.
Adam D, yeah. Those guys influenced an entire generation of sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have absolute confidence to say that Nolly is at the pinnacle of what will be influencing another generation of sound.
I am genuinely heartily shocked that Rick Beato's not done a video talking about Nolly or talking about Periphery.
He has done videos.
Has he? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He did some analysis of some Periphery stuff because I transcribed it for him.
All right. Cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fucking name drop me.
I mean, you named him.
Well, yeah, but actually, I was working with him. No, and my point being, I think that he might be someone like Rick Beato or that will start to talk about as being one of those guys that you might not realise it, but the influence he's having and the level of the things he does will change how bedroom guitarists and studio fucking engineers will mix and master and layer their music for time. And
yeah, because people
move
will
on.
be going to their mix engineers now and being like, I want it to sound like this Periphery record. I want it to sound like this particular Nolly mix. Like that's your sign. Back in the day, that wasn't really it. You'd be like, I want it to sound like this, and you're talking about a very specific, like somebody that works in that field. Nolly does it all. He's got the ear. He's an incredible guitar player. He's obviously got get good drums for drum samples, which I've not actually played with. I've not used them.
Same.
Superior Drummer 3 does the trick for me, or Easy Drummer if I'm being lazy.
But see, that's doesn't really add to the argument. But for people who are going to be super meticulous and want it to sound as professional as they can get on a budget, that's who's going to buy that.
Yes.
I don't have a drummer. I don't have an isolated recording space to have drums recorded. I can't afford to pay someone to do it. But I can afford this plugin and I can program it through MIDI and I can fuck with it infinitely.
Yeah.
And all the samples sound great and therefore I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and the magic thing about guitar is guitar is quite easy to record with all these plugins now, right? You can record this, you have a plugin like this, record into your laptop, and it is going to sound amazing.
Oh, it'll be unbelievable. Set your levels and it'll be fucking silly.
Downside, it is €135, which is a lot of money. There's a lot of money for people. It's obviously considerably more expensive than the Andy James one.
Yep.
I think it's probably a reflection of the sheer amount of fucking time that will have gone into this. But also, yeah, they'll absolutely be capitalising on the fact that it says Nolly on it.
Yeah, I think they can justify the price of €135, not even because it's Nolly's name that's on it, but the fact that it does everything. See, if you look into it, I know we've not really covered too much about the actual plugin. You have an effects chain at the start. You've got two separate overdrives, a compressor, and I think it's a delay or a reverb. You've got 4 different amplifiers, which go from super clean to mega over the top 50-watt lunchbox head cranked to fuck. 4 separate cabs. You can split them. You've got a 9 or a 10 band EQ that goes in between that, and you also have effects that go post.
Yep.
So they're through the effects loop, which is a delay and a reverb. There we go. Like meant to be like a Strymon and whatever else. Like that. There isn't a guitar tone you couldn't find from this.
Yeah.
The only thing you would struggle to do is if you wanted to put mega weird effects like a flanger or a Leslie rotary sim or whatever. In which case you're just going to go
those plugins.
Exactly, another VST. They're second in the chain, still not using a lot of processing power. That sounds great. I can fuck with this afterwards.
Yeah. It would surprise me, or would it not surprise me? I can't decide. I would like to think that there would be the option when you're running this in your audio workstation that you could put VSTs in between parts of the chain in this plugin. That would be what would be ideal, because you don't really want the amplifier, the sound that you're getting from this speaker sound recorded, that's your sound, then you're putting like a Leslie sound after it. You know what I mean? You want it to be in the right place in the chain.
I don't know if there's an option to put things into the loop, because the loop's obviously included as part of it. That's where they've got the delay and the reverb, the post effects. It'd be interesting to see if that can be done. I don't think that'd be impossible, considering it's a digital signal chain.
Yeah. Super cool though. Super cool. It's a lot of money. I mean, I wish I could go and buy it. We didn't talk about my studio at all. I should do that.
Let's do it.
Because this is the sort of thing I look at and I go, it's €135. It's actually quite a lot of money, but this is my job, and therefore it's a tax write-off, so I can justify doing stuff like that, especially if I'm make some videos out of it.
And it sounds good, which
it
does.
But as you know, I'm spending all of my time and money on my garage, my studio. which is still a shit show for people that are following my YouTube updates and photos. I've been digging drains this week, digging trenches that need to be turned into drains. It reminds me I need to get off this podcast and order a skip. That's the next thing, a skip.
Exciting.
Do you know how much skips cost?
180 quid or something.
I'm hoping I can get one for 180 quid. I'm expecting probably about 225. That's a lot of money for a metal thing to throw rubbish in.
Yeah, and every time you get it emptied, it costs you more money because they'll charge you that again over the top.
Yeah.
If you decide to do that.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in my life. But point is, at some point, I'm absolutely going to want to get myself a copy of this and look it up. But I guess going back to what I was saying at the start of this segment, do you need it? No.
Do I need it? No.
Does anyone need it? No. Is it nice to have more options? Yes. Can you find yourself under a bit of option paralysis if you were to have this and every other plugin option available to you? I always come back to Martin Miller. Always use Martin Miller as my example because he's also very good at production. And his sound's come a long way, but his album was recorded using a Pod XT. And he did it because that was what he had. That was all he had. And it wasn't just, cool, this is what I have, so we'll just use it. It was, this is what I have. I need to learn how to use this and make this thing sound good. You're going to be able to make what if you've got sound really good. The only thing I think the Nolly thing or the Andy James thing is going to bring to the table is it's going to remove a lot of that, you having to do the guesswork to work out how to make it sound good.
It's funny you say that. Nolly actually talks about it in the video. He says, what impressed me the most about it is when I got the finished product back from Neural and I got to play with it myself, I found that my creativity had came back and I hadn't had that in a long time. And he's got a big smile on his face. You can tell he's been genuine. He's like, I sat down and just started writing and playing riffs that in the same inspirational way I hadn't felt for 20 years because I was so used to going in and that doesn't quite sound right. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like
Yeah.
what I'm hearing in my head is coming out from the amplifier and the monitors right away. So
Yes.
There's no any, I want to put more mids in that's a bit harsh, it's a bit too loud, the gain's clipping, it's just
Yeah,
you're just into riffing and that's it.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's pretty much us done. We got anything else to talk about? No, I think we're...
No, I don't think we've got really any other topics at all.
That's all right. We've sat and chatted bollocks for an hour and a half. So, thank you very much for tuning in. And a big thank you to our sponsor, Ormsby Guitars. I would encourage you to go on over to Ormsby's website. In fact, why don't we just do that?
Let's do it right now. Run 11 is open. Rumours of Run 12 and when they're going to launch.
I've seen the
Dino preview.
I keep seeing the pictures of the Rusty Cooley.
The RC ones. They are gorgeous. You saw the purple one?
Is it? Yeah, the RC one. So, are these open for pre-orders now?
I think this is September the 8th, and I think Dino's is the same, but this one might already be open.
So you can head on over to the Ormsby Guitars website right now and get in on the RC one. I just think that's such a cool guitar. I legitimately do. I'm going to do the spiel, right? I talk about fan frets, parallel versus parallel frets. There's just the multi-scale thing so much. And the amount of people that I've argued with about ergonomics, and they give you the example of, yeah, but you know, your hand opens like this, and they go down to the first fret, and they say, when you do this, your finger stretches out that way. And I always say the exact same thing. Cool. If that's the case, which obviously it is, then why do you need to fan the other way when you go up the neck? Because when it fans the other way when you go up the neck, when you're getting onto lower strings, it becomes objectively much harder to play those notes, right? It's inefficient. It's less ergonomic when you get up the neck. So if you're genuinely doing it just for ergonomic reasons, why don't you have a straight bridge and then fan it down? Like this guitar.
There's a few other models like that as well. There's the Genesis ones that were the handmade guitars, and I think the Futurers have got a few where it starts off that the parallel is the bridge. Yeah. But the RC one's the first Korean built one, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Well, you need it to be. You need, like, because it has a Floyd Rose in there. Like, you don't have the option of having the fan. But I look at this and I say, that is what you want. To me, that's probably the perfect scale variation as well. It must be what, half an inch between the high string and the low string?
It'll tell you if you read up. 25.5 to 26.25. Good fucking guess, man.
Yeah.
The sixth string's 25.5 to 26.15, so not even an inch.
Yeah, so it's a tiny difference, but that's enough, isn't it? That you have nice tension on the top, and for all of your lead guitar playing. But then when you get down to that low end, you've got just enough for those low notes to be tight. without needing to thicken your string up to the point where the string starts sounding like shit.
That's it.
Anyway, so you can get on this run for, there you go, 2,495 Australian dollars. Worth pointing out, Australian dollars, which is
1,380 quid. Not a lot of money.
yeah, which is or if looking US dollars, 1675. So
This is also the first run that I've saw where they have aftermarket pickups. These have the EMGs in them.
you've got that option because of the straight bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is.
I mean, you could always do it, but you would have to use like an 8-string
Yes.
pickup for a 7-string guitar because it's obviously a soap bar in the way the angles are.
Yeah.
And there have been some people that have modified them.
I have to look at this, and like my one criticism would be, I appreciate you're an Australian company, so of course you need to have Australian dollars on there, but that's the daunting one. Like that's the high number. So you look at that and you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. But when you actually look down and you go less than 1,700 American dollars, wow, that's actually pretty cheap. You know,
Big spec.
£1,400. That's obscenely cheap for what that is. So yeah, beautiful guitar, and I mean, I don't need more guitars.
But you do.
I can't. I don't own a Floyd Rose, so I could probably try and justify it like that, right? I don't need more bloody guitars, but I really want that guitar. I really, really like that
There's
guitar.
something just attractive about it, isn't
I
there?
like it in blue. Fortunately, there isn't a red one. If there was
Look
a
at
red
that
one,
purple though. Look at it. Scroll back up. Come on.
I think I like it in blue the most.
Turgid, man. Look at. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at it.
Nah, blue. So
I like the blue marble. I think it's gorgeous. I think the
Yeah.
orange marble will be cool as fuck. But
that's cool as shit.
oh,
Cool as shit. So really impressed.
Dino pre-orders, as far as I know, open on the 8th of this month as well. So that'll be another one to keep an eye out for.
We'll get to talk about that on the next show.
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
Yeah.
I don't have any other sneak previews or snippets, unfortunately, that we can share here as exclusives, but maybe we can get that another time.
Yeah. So cool. As always, if you do end up picking up an Ormsby, let us know. Send us a picture. Love seeing what you guys are ordering. And yeah, we're always happy to share those on our page because it's nice to know that people actually listen to some of the things we say.
This might be a good place to talk about this as well. Andy was talking about potentially trying to find out who is local that owns an Ormsby that would maybe want to have like a meet-up, even just go for a couple of beers, find somewhere, get some food, get the guitars out, make a fucking racket.
Are you talking about Scotland or just in general
Just
around
Scotland.
the
I mean, it can happen anywhere in the world, obviously. There have been some in Australia. But no, like local to Glasgow and stuff. So if there's anyone listening who's local, who owns an Ormsby, or even wants to try an Ormsby and is interested, hit us up.
An Ormsby Fest. We could be the official Scotland Ormsby Fest.
Distributors.
Franchisees. On that note, thank you so much for listening to our show, guys. We really do enjoy making these for you. So, yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. Go tell Perry that we said hey. And you ready for it? Until next time.
Bye, fuckers.